What is a profession that was once highly respected, but is now a complete joke? Retail. Believe it or not, it was once considered a respectable job. Adults would work full-time for years with the same company, be knowledgeable about what they sold, and make a wage that could support a family. Yeah, this one is a wage issue more than anything. The people who are knowledgeable can, typically, use their skills elsewhere, so now that it doesn't pay for shit, they go elsewhere, which leaves people who aren't knowledgeable and who, likely, won't be there in a few months, so they aren't likely to learn either, which leads to people having less respect for them. I always tell people this when they bitch about the employees at Home Depot, Lowe's, or whatever. Plenty of people who know what they're doing would be happy to work retail if it paid enough for them to survive, but it doesn't, so they can't. Bring back living wages and you'll suddenly get better people. A shocking concept. Bank teller used to be a foot in the door to the finance industry. Now it's basically 20-year-old credit card salesman. I remember when I was in college, I interviewed at a national bank branch for a part-time teller position. Maybe it's different at the smaller, local banks and/or credit unions, though I doubt it, but proved the stereotype of national banks being financial vampires right. Thought the interview would be dedicated to my abilities to break large numbers into smaller bits, e.g. turning a $100 into various bits, math skills, knowledge of policies, and/or ability to learn their software. Instead, while time was dedicated to how I would try to upsell customers, change their basic savings account to a money market account, convince them to use that bank to take out a loan, or apply for the bank's credit card and other products instead. Not just tellers, but bankers now too. I was a universal banker at a local bank. The universal just meant I was a teller and a banker. The idea was when a customer walked in, they would only ever need to talk to one person. And like you said, I was a 20-something kid who just tried to sell lines of credit. Mail carrier. In the US at least. We had a good half-century where delivering the mail was highly paid, highly respected, and a great job for people that didn't like the typical office job site routine. In 2024, the pay is subpar and moving towards outright poverty wages. The respect is still high but waning due to out-of-control junk mail and subpar carriers who don't get paid enough to care. The PO took all the new technology of the last 2 decades that could have made the job easier and more efficient, and used it to micromanage carriers. My dad worked for the post office all my life. We were lower middle class but still had a great quality of life, while my mom was a stay-at-home mom. Taxi drivers used to be super knowledgeable about local geography and attractions. Now they know nothing and just do whatever the app says. Though to be fair, maybe they weren't ever respected for that knowledge. I've always respected London's black cab drivers for their achievement of the knowledge. Pretty incredible to memorize every street and route in such a large city. Court jester. They make jokes and are celebrated. I make one and I'm in contempt of court. Did you forget to add, Your Honor? Astrologer. Royals used to consult with their astrologers to see what was written in the stars for them, and it was considered a genuine science. Now they just use Myers-Briggs and the like. Astrology for MBAs. As someone who is midway through my master's degree in psychology, let me just say, I hate the Myers-Briggs. It's basically just Jungian archetypes, updated and repackaged for the corporate world. It's fun to take the assessments, and it can generate some basic insights into our personality. However, I draw the line in tests like this being used for hiring, promoting, or anything serious. Wedding photographers. We went from being the preservers of authentic, awesome, joyful moments for the bride and groom, to being content creators that manufacture those authentic moments for likes and bride influencers. I assisted at a wedding this past fall where the bride and groom redid their first kiss 3 different times for the content creators. Seriously. Ugh. I hired a photojournalist for my wedding and absolutely loved the results. I almost never knew where he was, but he got photos of everything. Price was great for the time, and I got all of the negatives. Teacher. The complete lack of respect by government, parents, and kids is astonishing. I worked at a grade school for years and the parents were the worst. I'm a teacher and this is it. I have kids who I know their behaviors and attitudes are 100% because of their parents, and this is at 5 years old. A parent sent me a long, angry email because her son came home without his gloves, and it's like, it's not my job to keep track of your child's materials for him. If you as a parent either don't write their name on everything or don't teach them how to keep track of stuff, then I don't know what to tell you. I'm here to teach your child the curriculum. I can't keep track of a million different pairs of the same black gloves. Journalism. Somewhere along the way it stopped being about delivering the news in a timely manner, and started being about getting clicks and being the first to report something, even if it might not have been true. As someone who has worked directly in journalism, this resonates a lot. I used to write for a regional paper, and I used to take shit because my pretty decent articles would be given fucking absurd and childish headlines. People who knew me would see the headlines. They wouldn't read much beyond it. They'd assume the headline reflected my opinion and would fact-check me with things I said in the damn article. I remember once an editor added a headline that completely contradicted the thesis of the piece and made me look like a moron. One of the most frustrating points of my professional life. I actually started lying to people about what I did. I don't think it's necessarily the journalists at fault. Sometimes it is. Rather, people don't see everything behind the scenes and don't understand the current incentive structure of these businesses. Where I used to work, we'd have X number of assignments that would need to be completed. We had one quota for self-ideated pieces and another quota for priority editor-ideated pieces. But we couldn't communicate to readers like, hey, this one is a me thing for something I thought was important. This thing is an editor thing that they thought would get clicks. Please don't judge me for their dumbfuck piece. I've never been more embarrassed by a job than I was journalism. And I've worked as a male babysitter before, specifically because of editors and management. Don't even get me started on the stupid guidelines we got from management. I took a journalistic ethics course in my undergraduate media college program. That was before social media. It's utter bedlam now. Frankly, I trust Wikipedia more than most news sources. Politician. My understanding is that people once respected them, maybe. One of the indicators of the fall of the Roman Empire was that no one wanted to serve in government because it was seen as corrupt and unfulfilling unless you were crooked. Working for an airline used to be an admirable job, classy. Now it's embarrassing as airlines treat people like cattle. Technical maintenance. Industrial maintenance. Used to be respected for your knowledge and contribution to production numbers. Now, with corporate greed, you are the red-headed stepchild and costing them money. You don't need all those parts. But woe to you if a machine goes down, and you have no part because they reduced your inventory by 3-4. Real estate agents. The keeper of the royal stool used to be a very well-respected position. Yes, this is what you imagine it to be. There used to be someone whose job it was to wipe the royal arses, and it was a highly sought-after and well-respected position. Chiropractors are on a well-deserved downward slide. I hope this one expedites. The amount of posts in local mom groups that are along the lines of, my newborn infant suddenly can't move their lower limbs. Any chiropractors that see same day? Excuse me, ma'am. You need the ER. The only person I'd go back in time to punch is an infant chiropractor. What a self-absorbed, exploitative, lying piece of shit. Truck driving. Truckers used to be called the knights of the road. Now they're a bunch of clowns. I'm a retired driver. It was a good profession when I started. Not sure if this was just a me thing, but I used to think HR had a purpose. I wasn't sure what it was, but now I get that they are not there for you but as nothing more as a liability shield for the company, and that they should not be trusted by employees under any circumstances. HR is like the police. They can and will lie directly to your face. They do not have your interest in mind, and the entire department is staffed by people who have no skills in anything tangible. Engineer. In some countries it's a protected title, but they keep putting it on jobs that have nothing to do with engineering. Custodial engineer. Was getting a vaccine recently, and the nurse giving it to me said, I would never put anything like this in my body. I was really shocked. Even if you think that, should you really be saying that to patients? No, they should not. We take an oath that some nurses choose to not follow. The nurse was out of line and should have been reported. Obviously, she does not know more just because she is giving you the shot. Nurses are just as capable of misinformation as anyone. Somewhat better with more educated RN BSN. Butchers. I don't know if I describe them as a joke, but the social clout has dropped significantly. Think this is also a regional thing. In South Germany at least, the locals' butchers are often still respected and genuine craftsmen. I also know a few in Ireland who were well respected, but they were in the minority. What is a profession that was once highly respected but is now a complete joke? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.